What's good, y'all? It's none other than Daniel Chase, and welcome to my channel, No Bad Hair Days Chase, where, like I said, I teach you guys how to do your own cuts, your own braids, your own twists, your own fades. This last week, maybe 2 weeks, I really become a hat wearing guy. But before I get into the rant, man, speaking of the hat, definitely got to thank Charlie P for this. This is Trends by Charlie. 2020 has been a very crazy year, man. We really got to take that extra time to make time for ourselves and protect our peace. So this hat really reminds me of that. I'm gonna go ahead and put the website to where you can also order this hat, as well as some of the other things that I purchased from Charlie, man. He's a great dude, man. So go ahead and check out his site. So the goal of today is teaching you guys how to do a ball fade. I have not done a ball fade in quite some time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this thing, man. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. So right in here, I'm taking the brush, brushing the hair down. You definitely want to make sure that you brush all of your hair down. Make sure you got all of your hair going the right direction. And what I do here, I take my clippers. I usually do this with a number 2 guard with the lever halfway open, following the grain of the hair, just cleaning the hair up, cleaning up all the flyaways, giving myself a smooth canvas right here. So right here, we're gonna get into creating zone 1, which is gonna be our bald layer. We're gonna take the clippers with no guard, have the lever fully closed, and we're gonna go ahead and cut up against the hair to go ahead and create that bald layer. So you do wanna have it set in your head where you want each zone to be. Now, as I'm starting to get up to the top of where zone 1 is going to end, I do open the lever a little bit to keep the hair from being as low to the scalp as I am approaching where I want zone 2 to begin. Alright, so now we are about to start getting into zone 2, and that's going to be our medium layer. Now with this, I do put the lowest guard for my clippers on, and I have the lever fully closed. Now, I do take this and I cut up against the grain of the hair, but as you'll see a few times, I will come across at a horizontal motion. That's going to help debulk the hair as you're trying to get the hair to blend between your layers. If anything, brushing is going to be very important in this phase, because you're going to have to brush the hair back down to see how far you have cut, to see how much more you need to cut to get your layers to blend. Like I said, you'll see me sometimes come across horizontally to cut that bulk out in between the layers. Now, as you see, we're going to brush it back down, to keep an idea of how much we've cut. Now, as I'm going back, as you see, I have the clippers at an angle, flicking the wrist as I'm going back through it. And as you see right here in this section, when I'm starting off zone 2, I don't take it all the way up to the front. You do want to have a little bit of darker hair right there for the sake of creating your tape line. But you do want to take your time on zone 2. Zone 2, everything that you do in zone 2 is going to be blending your bald layer and your darkest layer at the top. So definitely take your time, pay attention to what you're doing. once you get done cutting in here, you definitely do want to take the brush and brush your hair all back down. Take a look at what you got going on. You may have to return to some zones, make sure you don't have too much hair in one spot. You might have to go back and reblend a few areas. There's nothing wrong with rechecking your work. Now this is probably one of the most important parts to a great haircut, is definitely having a great tape line. As y'all know, I use a lot of the Murray's Edge wax. Take a little bit of that, dab it on the hairs around my tape line to go ahead and get those intact. Take the brush and we're gonna brush the hair back down, make sure everything's laying down good and smooth, right? Now, we're gonna go ahead and take our Andis clippers and we're gonna start in the middle. Now you start in the middle to go ahead and get your line, and then you want to take the clippers and begin going over to the weakest side of your tape line. Now the weakest side of your tape line is where your hair tends to be the thinnest. Now once you get that side lined up, it's easy to go over to the stronger side and get that side evened up. But you always want to start with the weakest side because that's where you have the least amount of hair. Now one of the things I do as I'm doing this, a lot of times you'll see me take my fingers and pull the skin tight just to make sure that my line is coming out good. So as you do this, you know, sometimes when you get into these corners, you want to take your hands and just pull your skin a little tight just to make sure that you're getting that line crisp. Now what's a good tape line without having your face cleaned up? Now I will say this, before you start taking these clippers and start cutting around your lips, man, definitely clean your clippers off, man. You don't want to take that stuff that you just had in your hair and put that around your mouth, man. You put your mouth at the risk of breaking out from the clippers, and you don't want to be walking around here looking like you got an outbreak, man. Make sure you clean up them clippers before you start cutting around that lip. Now, so one of the things that I typically do on the right side, I typically do like a little part. Now, the story behind the part, when I was a little kid, my great grandmother would part my hair on the right side for church. So I jokingly call this my Sunday part. And so in remembrance of my great grandmother, a lot of times I'll do a little line on the side. Now, since the right side is where my hair is typically the thinnest because I sleep on the right side, doing a little quick part through that side kind of hides the fact that my hair is a little bit thinner right there. anyways, I do want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the vid, man. Hopefully you gathered some tips that's going to help you out with doing your own fade, whether you do a low fade or a bald fade. Next video, we're going to go for more of like wash and go tips to just touch up the hair real quick and get out the door. As always, one love but much love. And my light just really went out in the middle of that.